Hey guys, Ken with Prevectus Group. Today we're talking about something that is extremely important, and it has everything to do with how to load your semi-automatic pistol and how to unload your semi-automatic pistol. Now, before we get started, I want you to go ahead and start thinking about reasons why you need to know how to load your gun and unload them. I'll go ahead and give you a couple. When we're talking about self-defense, I would rather carry around a firearm that was loaded and had one in the chamber versus having a firearm that didn't have any rounds in the magazine and did not have one in the chamber. It's going to take a long time to get some rounds in this firearm so we can actually use it for what it's intended for, and that's to protect ourselves. Let's jump right into this. Let's first make sure that the firearm that we're using is unloaded. The reason why I like to do that is I always like to know the condition of the firearms that are around me. And all that means are these guns loaded? Are they unloaded? What have you. However, we're always going to treat them as if they are loaded, so we're not going to point them at folks. Now, let's do something real quick. I'm gonna rack this slide 3 times. I don't see a magazine in here, so I get to skip this step. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna lock the slide to the rear. I didn't see a round pop out of here or anything like that. So I'm gonna visually look down. I can see through the magazine well and see the floor. And I'm gonna look at the chamber, and I'm gonna stick my finger in there just to double check. This gun is unloaded. Now, let's talk about this. I have an unloaded firearm. I carry a gun every single day, or say I've got my firearm, I keep it by the nightstand, or I keep it inside of my vehicle. I need to make sure that this gun is loaded. First thing we want to do is we want to take a magazine, and your magazine needs to have some rounds. Looks something like this. Yeah. For the people, there we go, right there. Yeah, got a couple rounds in there. This is a Go Safe mag. Really like this mag so far. This is a magazine that's actually a safe as well. First of its kind. If you want to find out some information on that, check the link below. But you need a magazine with some rounds in it. We put 1 round in here. We're gonna then take this magazine with a round in it. We're gonna insert it into the firearm, your semi-automatic pistol. When you insert it with a little bit of force so it seats properly. To double check that it's seated, we want to pull down on the magazine and make sure that it does not come out. When we're doing this, always want to make sure that you're adhering to the safety rules and you're pointing the gun in the safe direction. The direction that the pistol is pointing is safe. Now, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna orient the pistol down towards the floor just a little bit, and I'm gonna rack the slide, and I'm gonna put a round inside of the chamber. Now, if you noticed, when I racked the slide, I pulled back on the slide until the slide stopped, and I let go of the slide so that the spring that's in here that's responsible for bringing the slide back, I want that spring to use all the force available to allow the slide to go back forward with a lot of pressure and a lot of momentum, because we want to make sure that that round is seated in there perfectly. Now, if you would like to double and triple check to make sure there's a round inside of the chamber, you could do what's called a press check. We're gonna grab the slide in the exact same area that we just grabbed it to put around the chamber, but we're not gonna pull all the way back. We're only gonna pull back maybe 1/4 of an inch, just enough so that you can look inside and I can see a piece of silver. So let's get in here and show people what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be looking in this general area. This is called the breech, and I'm pulling back a little bit. See that silver in there, Jay? Yep, that's the casing from the round we just put in the chamber. And if you notice, after I let the slide go back, I bumped the back of the slide just to make sure it was still in battery. And that's how you load your firearm. All right, so how do we reverse this? How do we unload this? And for a lot of you, I think this is gonna be just as important as making sure that it's unloaded. In some instances, I feel that making sure that you know how to unload it is a little more important. Just in case you're around a firearm and hey, we've all been there, or some of us have been there, you got that friend showing you about their gun, they don't know how to unload it. It's extremely important that you know how to do this. Plus, when you go to clean the gun and maintain it like you should, you got to know how to unload this bad boy. So I do this procedure the exact same way every time. And I do it that way because I don't want to miss any steps. I don't want to skip nothing. I'm trying to really, really be safe. And I know you guys and gals are too. So this is how we start. You start the unload procedure by removing the magazine. So we're going to press the magazine release. We're going to release that mag and we're going to set it to the side. Now, after that, we've removed the mag with all the extra ammunition. Now, just in case there's a round inside of the chamber, we've got to get it out. So I want to rack the slide 3 times. I grab the slide in the same place every single time. I orient the pistol in front of me just a little bit. I grab the back of the slide like this. I'm going to rack it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. If you notice, you saw the round pop out of the pistol and it popped out in rack number 1. So the second rack and the third rack are just for that value added to double check and triple check that it's unloaded. Now, I'm gonna quadruple check. I'm gonna lock the slide to the rear. And after I lock the slide to the rear, I'm gonna visually look through and I can see through the mag well, I can see my hand here. And then I'm gonna visually look in the chamber and I don't see the back of the 9mm round anymore. I'm also gonna stick my finger in there just to make sure. I let the slide go forward, I press the trigger in a safe direction. Everything is good to go. This is how I unload a firearm, a semi-automatic pistol, every single time. Drop the magazine, get it out of there. Rack the slide 3 times. Pay attention to the round when it comes out of the chamber. Remember, rack it 3 times. After that, lock the slide to the rear, visually look inside of the mag well and the chamber, and then physically check. Now, the last little pro tip that I'll give you is locking the slide to the rear is the universal signal that this pistol is most likely unloaded. Remember the key words that I just used there, most likely unloaded. And the reason why I say that is because it could be, the slide could be locked to the rear, but there could still be a round in that chamber. So anytime I unload a firearm and I set it down on the table, I like to leave the firearm in this orientation with the slide locked to the rear so that anybody that's coming around, they can look at it and go, most likely that firearm is unloaded. Also too, when I do that, I like to lay the pistol on its left side so that you can easily see into the breech. So when I lay this down on the table, it's gonna be just like this. That's how I like to lay it there. Now everybody around me knows that this firearm is most likely unloaded. I hope that this video really, really, really helped you. I mean, helped you, and y'all over here. This stuff is very, very important. You gotta know how to load your gun. You're not gonna be able to protect yourself and your family and the people around you if the gun's not loaded properly. You have to make sure that you go through the process the same way every time. There's a lot of redundancy built into this process so that you know for a fact at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. in the afternoon that, hey, my gun is definitely loaded. And on the flip side, you gotta definitely know how to unload your firearm in the exact same steps every single time so you know for a fact that your firearm is unloaded. Always to remember that even though it's unloaded, still treat it like it's loaded. And remember that last pro tip, if the gun's unloaded, lock the slide to the rear, lay it on its left side so it'll look something like this, and the people around you can know that this gun is probably unloaded. Again, I really, really, really hope this helped you. For more information on this wonderful magazine from GoSafe, hit the link below. That's it. We love you. Peace.